Hi, I'm Fakes My Revolution and I'm back again with another tutorial. This time I want to talk a little bit about guitar equalization and what's my approach on getting a cool sound. Now let's go through the tracks that you can see here. First we got this bass plus drum track. This is a pre-mastered stereo track combining bass and drums. As you can see here, there are no plugins on this track, so just listen to it. So nothing fancy going on so far. By the way, this is a part of my new song Saint, which you can also watch on YouTube. Go check it out. Then we have our guitar tracks. I have one track for the left guitar and another track for the right guitar. These two tracks are panned 100% to the left and right, as you can see here. And these two tracks are routed through this track, the Git Rhythm track. And then this Git Rhythm track is routed through track number 1, which is our test that EQ track. On this track, there goes on the main equalization for the guitars. Then we have our mastering plugin chain. I don't want to talk about this plugin chain in this tutorial. This chain is basically for compression, mastering, reverb, and loudness purposes. And in fact, this chain does not affect the frequencies of the overall sound that much. It adds a little bit of high frequencies to it, but basically the sound stays the same. I can show you this. So let's listen to that. So, right, not that big of a deal, I think. So let's take a closer look on our guitar tracks. We have 4 plugins on each one of it. First, we got a gate. This is standard to eliminating our noise, which comes from the humbuckers or the preamp or whatever. Second, we have our distortion plugin. As always, on my guitar tracks, I use the TSE 1.1 with this awesome DIY in it. You can adjust the distortion very, very detailed, and this is a very great plugin. Go check it out. Awesome. Then my amp simulation plugin is the Lecto from Lepoux. Great plugin, one of the best free plugins I ever used. Just awesome too, man. Check it out. And then for cab simulation purposes, I use the Recabinet 3. I know Recabinet 3.1 is already out. I gotta check this out. But in this tutorial, 3.04 will do the job. All right. The plugin chain on the left and right guitar tracks is exactly the same, so I'm not using different amp or cab simulations on either of these two tracks. Okay, let's come back to the basic topic of today, which is the equalization of our guitar tracks. And you all know that problem when a friend emails you, hey man, I got a new awesome VST amp simulation plugin. Go check that out. This is best plugin I ever used. And then you fire up Reaper or Cubase or Fruity Loops or Pro Tools or whatever DAW you have. And you set up your tracks, you set up your gate, your distortion, your new almighty amp simulation plugin, you have your Recabinet or impulse response loader ready, and then you fire it up and it sounds like this. bleh. So your guitars sound like shit, and they're thin, they're muddy, and they're just not as good as you want them to be. I know you know that problem. And then what's the next step? Normally you go ahead and start fiddling around with your amp simulation plugin. You try to get the EQ right here. You'll fiddle around with your drive knob and your low knob and your middle knob and all the knobs you have here, and nothing will change a thing. Next, you go ahead and grab an EQ plugin and try to fiddle around with that. And at the very end, you will throw all things away and email back to your friend, oh man, this amp simulation plugin is just shit. It wasn't right for me. So, and I don't want you to do that. And now I try to give you some guidance for the problem. In order to do that, we now go ahead and compare the sound between an enabled EQ effect chain and the effect chain disabled. So check this out. So this is a very huge difference, I think. With the effect chain disabled, the guitars, they sound too fizzy. There's a lot of fizz to it. There's lack of low end, and they sound really thin and muddy, and they really don't fit into the overall sound, I think. And now let's go ahead and get rid of that problem. So my approach is the following. On my equalization plugin chain, I have 3 plugins. The first EQ plugin is there to establish this basic tone. So what does basic tone mean? As you could hear before, our guitar sound has a lot of fizz in it, and there's a lack of low end and all such things. So this first EQ plugin is there to add in frequencies that we want, or which are not there, at least, and to eliminate all the frequencies that we don't want. So if I open this up here, you can see that I made really big changes to the frequency range. I increased the volume of certain frequencies a lot. For example, 5 dB on 80 Hertz. And for example, here I decreased the volume even about 15 dB, and this is really okay. And now let's hop over to the second EQ plugin. So in this EQ plugin, we just make slight differences to the sound. So we take the output of our first EQ plugin and listen to the overall track. And then we decide what frequencies have to be added to the sound. So you could realize that you need a little bit more low end, or there's a lack of mids to it, or perhaps you need a little bit of presence to it. And that's the plugin where you do these things. So as you could see, compared to the first EQ plugin, the frequencies that are changed are not changed that much. You can see here 2 dB, -2, plus 3.5, -2. This is, I would call it a shaping process. So you shape that sound. And at the end, our third EQ plugin is a little bit different. The first 2 EQ plugins are standard EQ plugins, which you can find in the internet, or mine, the ReaQ, is part of Reaper. And you can use any EQ plugin that you can find on the internet or within your DAW. That's really okay. Will do the job. Our third EQ plugin is a little bit different. I use the REQ 2 bands from Waves. And this is a great plugin for applying low pass and high pass filters to your tracks. Why? Because the flanks of this plugin are really, really, really steep, as you can see here. This is a I think this is the best high pass and low pass filter plugin that you can get out there. But it's not for free. Alright, now you know the purpose of each one of these equalization plugins. And now is the time to step through each one so that you can see and hear how each one of these plugins affect the overall sound. So let's start off with our first equalization plugin. And for this, let's disable the second and the third. As I said before, this EQ plugin is there to establish our basic tone and to get rid of the problems that we had with our sound. So our tone so far has 3 issues, I think. The first one is a lack of low end. So I added in some low end at 80 Hertz plus 5 dB. The second issue was that we had too much fizz on it. The fizz is located at 3.6 kilohertz in this tone. And don't be afraid of decreasing a frequency up to minus 15 dB. This is absolutely no problem. So don't be afraid of that. And the third issue is that the tone has too much high end. So I cut off the high frequencies at 11 kilohertz pretty sharply right here. And then I got 2 more bands right here, 2 and 3. This is my personal taste. I like this kind of djenty tone, this djent sound to the guitar. And if you want that sound, you have to add in 2 frequencies. The first is at 1.4 kilohertz and the second frequency is at 2.2 kilohertz. So if you do that, this will add these djenty frequencies, I call it. So let's take a listen to our changes that we made here. Alright, these are the changes to establish our basic tone. So let's go on with our second equalizer plugin. This EQ plugin, as I said before, is there to shape our basic tone. The input that comes into this plugin is a really nice tone, and within this EQ, we just go ahead and polish this sound a little bit. And here's an important note for you. Don't make the mistake and solo your guitar track and then try to make changes to the EQ right here. Always listen to the overall sound. This is a very common mistake because all the changes that you make here in this EQ plugin will affect the overall sound of the overall track. And if you're not listening to the overall sound, you never know what changes you actually make. So don't solo the guitar track while making changes right here. And now we go ahead and take a listen what I've done here. So as you can hear, these are very slight but essential changes to the sound. Okay, to wrap things up, let's take a look at our third EQ plugin. There's not much to talk about right here. I just cut out low frequencies below 80 Hz, and I cut out high frequencies which are higher than 13.5 kilohertz. So just let's take a short listen to that. Yeah, there's not much you can hear. So I think this is about it. And from now on, I hope you know what you have to do. If a friend sends you over a new amp simulation plugin, don't give up on your sound. Don't throw things away. Try to establish your own EQing process with the help of this tutorial. Check out my channel. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And thanks for watching.